Hello my friends, I am Dr. Bree, Doctor of Physical Therapy and the founder of FemFusion Fitness, your home for core and pelvic floor friendly fitness and yoga. Now, usually I keep our moves really low impact, and today is no exception, but the moves will be requiring a bit of spring in our step. They're going to be more of a low-ish impact, verging toward medium impact. But I really think that if we go through this together, there's nothing to be scared of, and it's something you can try even if you have pelvic floor dysfunction such as prolapse or bladder leakage, or core dysfunction such as diastasis recti. Let's give this a try together and just know yourself, know your limits, and if it doesn't work for you, back off. This is really inspired by some things that I learned at a recent health and fitness conference that I went to. There was so much emphasis on challenging yourself even as you continue to grow older with stimulating activities for your brain and body. Really keeping your fascial tissues moving, stimulated, springing with movements, putting a little bit of impact into your bones to help with bone density, all of these things that are important as we age and move into midlife and beyond. So let's go ahead and get right into it. You will need a tennis ball, although I have an option if you don't have a tennis ball. And I would like you to have a folded up blanket, a firm blanket that's not super cushy and soft. That would be ideal for the end. If you don't have these, it's okay, we can work around it. But let's go ahead and get started. So to begin, you're gonna put the tennis ball underneath your foot and you can hold onto a wall, and we're gonna begin with some foot massage. Now, this probably seems like a really unnecessary step, but I promise it's not. So I want you to go nice and slow and just massage the tennis ball along the length of your foot. So along your arch, and then back toward your heel. Keep going back and forth. And then spend some time on the ball of your foot and just move the ball back and forth, side to side. Go really slow. Go along the side of your foot, so the outer edge of your foot. Go along the outer edge of your foot, and then again on the inner edge of your foot. And then spend some time just on your heel, putting some pressure on the heel point. Now, the reason we care about the foot, keep massaging in whatever way feels good to you. Go slow, take your time with this. But the reason we're spending so much time here on the foot warming things up is that the entire deep front line, so a line of connective tissue, actually connects from the foot all the way up through the pelvic floor, through the core, all the way to the throat and upper body, upper head area, really. So you're connected from top to bottom by connective tissues. So it's really important that we warm up the whole body, starting at the feet. I mean, they are our foundation, our base of support, and especially for this workout, what we are going to be doing is using these feet to help us spring, bounce, gently bounce, do all of these really strong motions. And so we want our feet to be warmed up and ready for what's coming. We also want our feet to be conscious. We want to be consciously aware of our feet throughout the practice. So just be prepared for me to talk a lot about the feet. And if you'd like to really get into foot stuff, I recommend checking out the woman that I'm going to put her name on the screen. Check her out. She is amazing. So let's go ahead and switch sides. So just like before, you're going to focus first on the inner arch of your foot, just rubbing the tennis ball all the way along. Spend some time going back and forth along the ball of your foot, the top area. Spend some time going on the outer edge of your foot, the knife edge of your foot, and then just rolling around the mid of the foot. Press your heel onto the tennis ball. Go ahead and put some weight onto it. Feel yourself grounding into your toes, spreading out your toes as you do this. Maybe put your weight a little bit forward on your toes and then back on your heel. And then forward on your toes, spreading out your toes, and then back on your heel. One more time. There's really no right or wrong to this. Just do what feels good, and you might just become kind of addicted to this tennis ball feeling on your feet. Most of us don't spend any time thinking about our feet, but yet think of all that they do for us all day long. These little pieces of body equipment, they work hard for us. We should treat them right. Okay, so I'm gonna move the ball out of the way, and we are gonna get right into it. So shake out the legs, and we're gonna start with a focus on our feet. I want you to think about 1 foot forward. So my left foot is forward right now, right foot is gonna be back. But with my left foot forward, I want you to see that when your foot is forward, I want you to really spread out the toes. And I want you to lift the toes now. So lift all of your toes if you can off the ground, and see how when you lift your toes, that helps to lift the arch. The inner arch lifts. Now set your toes down and gently press the toe tips, the bottoms of the toes and the tips of the toes, gently into the floor. Not like you're crawling into the floor. You don't want to claw, but you want to gently press those toe tips down into the floor, keeping that arch. So if you need to do that again, lift the toes off the ground, find that nice arch, and then keep that arch and gently press the toes down into the ground. So you should feel really set through that foot, really firm through the bottom of that foot, really turned on and active. Now keep that position, and your other foot is gonna be like you're on 2 train tracks. So side by side, not straight in line. You want them some distance between the 2 feet. Both knees are bent. I want you to think about sending your bottom back. So don't just lean forward. You want to actually send your hips back toward the back of the room. Both knees are bent. And now today's workout is really all about explosive movements. These are things we don't think about doing so much. As we get older, we tend to want to do things that are maybe a little slower paced, especially if we have core or pelvic floor issues. We tend to want to slow down a little bit, which is okay, but we also want to keep our brain sharp, our bones strong, and our muscles strong, and keep challenging ourselves. And we can do it safely with respect to our body's changing needs. Let's go ahead and work through that now. So you should already be feeling a burn just from holding this position. But what we're gonna do is to exhale and explosively bring this foot forward, touching your heel to the ground. So use your butt muscles on this left side to do this. Now we're gonna actually this time bring our hands so that as you send your hips back, your hands are actually going to the right and left side of your front foot. So exhale as you explode up. And inhale. Take it very slow. Remember, your knees are bent, your hips are being sent back, your hands are down on either side of your foot to the right and left. They're not touching the ground, but they're just framing your foot in midair. Back is straight. Don't let this happen. Back is straight. Now you're going to strong through the core, strong through the leg, and exhale as we come up fast. And then step back. Again. And step it back. Do this with so much control. And then step it back. Exhale as you spring up, strong through the foot, and then step it back. And step it back. Step it back. Step it back. Make sure your arch is not collapsing. You should really be feeling this in the butt of the standing leg and the hamstrings. Let's make sure our form is still spot on. You're sending your hips back. You're not just leaning forward, you're sending your hips back. Both knees are bent. And then exhale as you straighten your body up. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Oh my gosh, isn't that great? Shake out the legs, shake out the arms, twist it out, release. Release the bottom, release the top, release the legs, and we'll go on to the other side. So same exact thing. We spent quite a lot of time setting this up on the other side, so we'll do that again. Just like before, now my right leg is forward, my left leg is gonna be back, and then just like before, you wanna make sure that you're strong through that foot, the bottom of the foot. Try lifting your tiptoes off the ground and then setting them down, keeping the arch, and gently pressing the toes into the ground. Not clawing, it's not a claw, it's just gently pressing them down. So again, lift up the toes, find that nice arch, and then gently set the toes down onto the ground. And gently press into the ground without clawing. Okay? So we have that nice setup of the foot. Toes are spread nice and wide, they're not coming together. And other foot is back. So now my left foot now is back and out to the side. So they're side by side on railroad tracks, they're not in line with one another. Both knees bent, send the hips back. You can play with position in just a second. So just start out here and just hold this position for a moment. Feel the backs of the legs and the butt turning on, holding it here. Remember that we're keeping our back really flat. There's no arching and rounding of our spine. So send the butt back, chest forward. And remember, our basic move is simply to exhale as we straighten this leg and bring this foot forward. Okay? Let's keep going, but add in the arms. So hands come down, your bum goes back, spine is straight, and then exhale as we explode forward. Do it fast, the explosion forward, and then carefully come back down. So a fast explosion forward, and then come down. Fast explosion forward, and then come down. Strong through this foot, and come down. And come down. What you should feel is a nice stretch through the back of the leg right now. And then a real strong strengthener of that leg as you come up. Remember to breathe just as I'm showing you. Your bottom is back, your spine is straight, and then you explode up and exhale. Down. Take your time with this. These are new movements. And if it's not feeling good for you at first because you feel uncoordinated, don't worry about it, just keep practicing. If there's ever any pain, or if it feels like it's not right for your pelvic floor needs, if it's aggravating your condition, then you're not ready for it. But, oops, if you just trip like that, or if it just feels weird, then that's not an excuse to stop. Keep practicing it because it's good to challenge ourselves with new, novel ways of moving our body, even as we get older, especially as we get older, to keep our brain strong and healthy, that neuroplasticity and neuro regeneration going. Last one. Okay, shake it out. Next up, we're gonna do some side to side moves and work on getting a little spring in our step, a little more impact, but there will be options if you can't tolerate the impact. But try with me. It's still pretty low impact. Legs nice and wide. Feet spread out, strong feet like we've been talking about. Bend into one leg. Your toes can be turned out just a little bit. So bend into one leg. Try not to let the knee go too far beyond the toes. We want to stay pretty much in line, knee over ankle. Don't let the knee fall in, okay? So come out and then up. Out and up. This is the basic move, strong through the core. Try not to let your butt stick back. It's a whole shift to one side and then straighten. Now this is where you can stay if you'd like, but I want to challenge you to come along with me and try something new. Lift up onto your toes. So lift your heel, come up onto your toes. Feel this rolling up and rolling down of your foot. Rolling up and rolling down of your foot. Rolling up and rolling down. Now let's add a little spring. See how I'm rolling up and rolling down. Rolling up and rolling down. Try to go, come off your toe and then touch the toe and heel comes down next. Push off the toe and then toe comes down, heel comes down. Push off the toe, toe comes down, heel comes down. Rolling up, rolling down. Try to really spring through that. Really point your toe and then softly land. Point your toe and softly land. Point your toe and softly land. This is gonna get your heart rate up. Take it slow. Exhaling as you do this. Landing softly. Exhaling as you push off. Maybe adjust your stance if you feel that your knee is at a position where it's going too far beyond your ankle. Still feel strong through this leg. And see how far you can push yourself. Maybe you can bring that leg up a little higher. You should really be feeling this now. Still do it with control. 3 more. Last one. Oh my gosh. That one you will feel. Shake it all out, let it all go. Okay, moving on to the other side. So, actually, let's relax it a little bit more. Shake it all out. Really shake out your bottom, really shake out your legs. Take a minute to do a few hip circles in each direction. Go the other way. Hip circles are always such a good way to stretch and release between moves. Okay, other side, wide legs. And just start with the basic side lunge. Adjust your stance if needed. Try not to lean your body forward. Your body is really shifting with your leg. So keep your body moving as a unit with your leg. Now try lifting your heel off the floor. And this is what we're going for with our spring offs, is how you're pointing your toe and your heel's coming off and then you roll down. So you push off and then you roll down. Push off and then you roll down. Heel touches last. Push off, roll down. Ready to spring? We spring and down. Spring and down. Remember to breathe. If you are not exhaling as you push off, it's not going to feel as comfortable for your pelvic floor and core. Take it slow. See how there's almost a hover in midair. Try different positions with your hands. Try to land really softly, pressing off, and then softly rolling down. Spring off, and then softly roll down. Spring off, softly roll down. Remember, it's so good to challenge ourselves, even though it's so easy to get stuck in our same old routine. I encourage you to do this a couple of times a week. It's great for your balance, great for your legs, and really good for your brain and body connection. Bone health too. Spring off and softly land. Spring off and softly land. Maybe lift the leg higher, and 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, shake it out. Okay, remember, release, release, release. Now, we're gonna go into pretty much the same move that we did at first, but it's just slightly different. So, still with strong feet, left leg forward, right leg back, strong through the core. Now, this time, we are going to keep your hands at your chest and just back and forth, springing forward. So, see how my bum is going back, and I am exhaling explosively on the way up. Go with your natural breathing pattern. So you may be going a little slower or a little faster than me, but try to straighten up explosively this leg and your hips. You don't arch your back, but your hips do really thrust forward, tucking your bum under just a little bit as you touch the heel to the ground in front of you. So again, exhaling up, back is flat, bum sits back, exhaling up, over and over, strong through that standing foot, the left foot. 10 more. And release. Shake it out, and we'll go right into the other side. So you see how this explosive movement is a very ballistic. It's almost bouncy. But when done with properly engaged muscles and proper tension, integrity throughout your body, because you're starting at your feet with those strong engaged feet, it's safe as long as it's appropriate for your body and your needs. So again, just because it's safe for me doesn't mean it'll be right for you. So listen to your body and respond as you need to. Okay, shake it all out. Zip up nice and strong. Other foot in front. Good tension throughout that foot, nice and strong. Your feet are in side by side, not like this. Step out a little if you need more base of support. Knees are bent, butt sits back, and remember, straightening up this leg and really bringing the hips forward. Drive the hips forward as you exhale. You might need to go slower than me. Go with your own breathing pace. Just make sure that your back stays straight and you're not rounding like this. And again, really drive those hips forward as you lightly touch the heel to the ground in front of you. 10 more. The breathing is so important. And let it go. Shake it out. Okay, moving on. We are gonna do a cross-body move. Cross-body moves are really good for incorporating both hemispheres of your brain, the right and the left hemisphere, for a really unified movement activity that works both sides of your brain and your entire body. So great for stimulating the brain, building bone strength, challenging your balance, and getting your heart rate up. So as you can tell, I can barely breathe. So we're gonna go ahead and this is the move. This is the basic move. Now, if you wanna just stay right here, take it as slow as you want to. that's fine. Really land well through that foot in the back. Exhaling as you crunch up and twist across your body. But if you want to add a little bit more, you're going to come up with one knee and then down and twist. So this to this, this to this. You want to go with control and land well on your feet. So really spread through the feet. Drive the knee up and then drive the other knee up. So my right knee up, my left knee up. My right knee up, my left knee up. Keep breathing. As you can see, this is medium impact. There's a little bit of impact, but it's very light. 10 more. And shake it all out. Bringing those arms up overhead really gets your heart rate up. So walk around the room, shake it out, take some deep breaths, shake out your arms, overhead, down low, shake out your butt, shake out your top, and same thing other side. March it in place. Remember, here's the basic move. You can do this the whole time if you'd like. Or if you want to, add a bit of a hop even. And this quick switch between sides. Still landing softly but firmly on your feet. Rolling up or rolling down and springing off. Breathe steadily. Do not hold your breath. Again, those arms up overhead are getting the heart rate up. 10 more. Strong through the core, keep breathing. It's gonna help your pelvic floor. Maintain intra-abdominal pressure. And last one. Oh my gosh, shake out the legs. Walk around the room. And our last standing up move, should you choose to accept it, is to get out your folded blanket. March in place as you're watching me. So keep marching. Now, if you don't want to do this, you can just march in place, or you can jog in place. Tiny little jogging. Really tiptoe jogging, spreading out your toes. Tiny little jogging. So those are options. Or you can jump up onto this. You don't want it super squishy, but this is going to challenge your balance and also give you a bit of a cushion to your blow when you land onto a jump. So instead of doing crazy box jumps or jumping upstairs or something like that, like maybe we did when we were younger, we don't have to give up jumping altogether, even if we have core and pelvic floor weakness. So let's go ahead and try this. Again, you can keep jogging in place lightly or marching in place, or zip up nice and strong and exhale. And then back down. And back down. Re-zip if you need to. And back down. Re-zip if you need to. Just prepare yourself and back down. Keep going. Now, if you don't have any core or pelvic floor dysfunction at all, then you can absolutely do this onto a step or a stair. But this jumping is great for stimulating bone strength. And you can come at it a little bit farther apart. Just play with it. And it's best to alternate the side that you're stepping back on. I keep stepping back off with the same foot. Challenge your brain by trying to alternate what foot is stepping back. Strong and engaged, and keep breathing. Just a couple more seconds of whatever you're doing. And finish up here. Now, check in with yourself. How are you doing after that? How did your pelvic floor hold up? Hopefully it's good. You're probably a little bit gathered up and engaged still, so take a minute to just let it go. Relax, release, shake out the legs, shake everything out. And we're gonna end with just a couple moves on the floor to kind of bring ourselves back to center. Work our obliques, our hips, and our pelvic floor. So we're almost done. All right, our first move here, we're gonna bring our knees close together. So side by side, knees are touching. Strong through the core, lifted through the belly button without rounding your back like this. So neutral spine, belly is toned, lifted up toward your back, your spine, and away from the floor. Now lift the toes off the ground, and you can have a blanket under your knees if that makes it easier for you. With your hands, I want you to lift one arm up and then set it down. Straight arms, lift your straight arm up and set it down. Exhaling as you lift that straight arm up and set it down. You should feel this deep in your obliques. Lift the straight arm up and set it down. You can try lifting it a little more out to the side, and you can also try just lifting it more kind of straight up. Feel the difference. Play in your own body and breathe with this. Try to bring your attention to your core, to the center of your body. See what happens when you move your arms in different positions. Strong through the core. The only thing moving is the arms. The feet are staying off the floor. The knees are staying close together. And just finish up here. Okay. Relax the back. Swirl it out. And we're gonna come on to a final round of little bridge exercises. So nice. A great way to end it. Come onto your back. And you are going to dig your heels into the ground, toes up toward the ceiling. Strong fists and digging your elbows also into the floor. Everything is tense. There's tension in your connective tissues and your muscles really driving this exercise. So lifting up, pressing your elbows and your heels into the ground, and just 10 of these total, and then we're gonna pop them up. Keep breathing, exhaling as you lift. Now hold it and pop, 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 pop. Little short, sharp exhales. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Pressing into your elbows. 3, 2, 1, and down. Now, feet together, knees apart. Same position. Strong into the ground with your elbows. And exhale, lift and down. Pressing into the ground with your elbows. Your heels are also pressing into the ground. Just lifting the bum up off the ground. Your whole flat edge of your foot can be pressing into the ground. So the whole outer edge of your foot can be pressing down. So this is different than my butterfly bridge where the knees come together. In this case, the knees stay apart the whole time. This is a frog bridge, and you're also feeling it in the backs of your arms because you are pressing down into your elbows. Now hold this last one, hold it, and pop, 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 lift, 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 lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. End with arms flat and a couple of my favorite butterfly bridges. So this time, your knees do come together and your feet come flat on the ground. Then flop them apart. Then your knees come together and your feet come flat and then apart. And 10 more. 10. We're done after this. 9. Keep breathing. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Okay. Hug the right knee into the chest, left leg long. And again, this is a really nice routine just to mix things up. Try something new, challenge your brain, challenge your balance, challenge your bones, challenge the spring in your connective tissues, work on your foot strength, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll do it once a week or so, maybe more, and share it with a friend who may enjoy it as well. Remember, just because we may be getting older, just because we may have core and pelvic floor dysfunction, doesn't mean we can't work within our body's own limits, respecting our body's limits, but challenging ourselves just a little bit. And if you can't meet the challenge, it's okay. Back off. That's okay. Try this stirring the pot. It's always okay to back off, but if you never push yourself gently, you'll never know what you can do. So don't fear movement. This is my most important message for you. Don't fear movement. Just play, experiment, and see what you can do. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Until next time, remember, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter.